Hello and welcome to the Plymouth Critical Infrastructure poster. Critical facilities or critical infrastructure are defined as important infrastructure that enable a community to function on a day-to-day basis or in an emergency, or they are facilities that provide social services and special services to vulnerable populations. Critical facilities include municipal buildings like Town Hall that'll enable the town to function, emergency services such as police and fire, public housing, schools, long-term care facilities, dams, correctional facilities, and energy facilities. The map you see on this poster illustrates Plymouth's critical facilities and their location in relation to a 0.2% or annual chance flood, better known as the 500-year flood, and a 1% annual chance flood, or known as the 100-year flood, as well as sea level rise at 2050. You will also see the red areas, these are the urban heat islands in the town of Plymouth. These are areas that are greater than 98 degrees on a very hot day in the July of 2016. The majority of critical facilities that serve the town's function and emergency response are safe from climate hazards. However, there are several critical facilities that are located in an urban heat island. Importantly, these include affordable housing and long-term care facilities. Some of the examples are Spring Hill Affordable Housing, Algonquin Terrace Affordable Housing, and Harbor Walk, a portion of which is affordable and provides housing for people with disabilities. Long-term care facilities include Chilton House Rest Home, Plymouth Crossing, and Life Care Center of Plymouth. And Radius Healthcare and Pediatric Center is also a medical facility located in an urban heat island. There are other infrastructure that are vulnerable to flooding. These are often found near or within open water areas to effectively serve their functions, including dams and stormwater outfalls. So we would typically find these in flood zones anyway, so we've highlighted their vulnerability to ensure that they remain viable in the face of changing extreme weather events and extreme precipitation events. There are 7 parks that are vulnerable to the 1% annual chance flood and sea level rise 2050. These include Cordage Park, Nelson Park, Downtown Plymouth, Town Brook, and Stevensfield, as well as Billington Sea. These parks are not only vulnerable to sea level rise and to coastal flooding, but they're opportunities to think about natural solutions and buffers to protect the neighborhoods in those areas. Most importantly, the Pilgrim Station nuclear power plant is vulnerable to the 1% and the 0.2% annual chance flood, as well as sea level rise in 2050. A large portion of the property's waterfront and a smaller portion of the building nearest the shoreline are susceptible. Many public and stakeholder participants and previously public forums and focus groups in the town of Plymouth have expressed serious concern about the risk of exposure of radioactive waste stored on the premises with sea level rise. However, we have time to plan accordingly, and overall, now that the plant is decommissioned, Plymouth is less vulnerable to radioactive exposure and severe and acute health impacts.